Jeremy, as we said, that you are really quite a renowned poster artist in many respects, and you've worked over a lot of posters, but I think a lot of the viewing public would be aware of. Could you kind of take us through how you got into being a poster designer and the sort of projects that you have come to work on?
Initially, it was totally by accident. I happened to go to a nightclub. There were people making. There were people making a film there, and I complimented one of them on her coat. I mean, really, it was as simple as that. And the film industry in Australia is pretty tiny, but the good thing is, if you do a good job, people will tell their friends, and they'll tell their friends. And pretty soon, I was doing features, and it just hasn't really stopped since then.
One of your most recent works, and obviously the MIFF Centrepiece film for this year, Holding the Man. It's a really arresting poster image, I think. In a time when we did mention that a lot of posters do focus on a lot of kind of facial motifs and a lot of concentrating on the performances. This does seem to sort of breathe a little bit of fresh air into that. For me, I feel, because there is a real kind of striking nature to it.
Well, this was one of the films that we went and had a meeting. We discussed at some length how we were going to market Holding the Man, because there are two very distinct markets for this film, and it is marketing, so you have to bear that in mind. For a lot of Australia, like gay Australian males, this is like a sacred text, and we wanted to make sure that the people for whom that was the case knew that this film was going to do that book justice, because it's an incredible love story. People are very passionate about it, and it inspires great feelings of love and admiration just for the book and the people in it. So it's important to get like that kind of core gay audience excited and feel like we hadn't sold it short. At the same time, that audience is not going to pay for the making of a film like Holding the Man. So you need to get the key art house audience involved, who happen generally to be middle class, female skewed, with people over 40. That's the key art house audience that every poster I've ever made has been made for them. So you don't want to scare people too much, and you want to say this is a love story for everybody, as the tagline says. Sydney rooftop after a long night out, and they were going to be in love, and it was going to be open, and it wasn't going to be claustrophobic, or there was going to be no mention of death or anything like that, and it was going to be lovely. And then they sent me through 8,000 photographs, and none of them kind of felt quite right until I got to this one, which, believe it or not, was about 7,950. And there's just something about it, like they seem like a couple in love, and it seems like it doesn't feel oppressive or claustrophobic. It's not heavy. Like I did a poster for Candy, which ostensibly is not too different to this, but it's a much more tight, you're in that relationship with them, and it's kind of grotty and close, and we couldn't afford to have that with this relationship because it's such an open book and an open film, and so that was where we went. And the twinkles just works. Excellent.
Well, if you're lucky enough to have a ticket to that, and I believe it's very close to selling out, and if not, the film comes out in cinemas very soon as well. Jeremy, thank you so much for that.
No problem.
Cheers.